As Springsteen, Sony signed deal some of the biggest music acquisitions of the past. The deal by Bruce Springsteen is the latest in a series of similar deals made by some big names of the music industry in the past few years. American singer Bruce Springsteen has reportedly sold his master recordings and publishing rights of his life's work to Sony in a massive deal worth about $500 million. According to an entertainment publication Billboard, the deal will give Sony ownership of the multiple Grammy awardees' entire catalogs, including 15 times platinum album Born in the USA and 5 times platinum The River. Even though no public announcement has been made about the deal, the value may exceed $500 million. The too familiar with the matter told the New York Times. The deal by the 72-year-old is the latest in a series of similar deals made by some big names of the music industry in the past few years. Here we have a look at some. Bob Dylan and Universal Music Group. In December 2020, US singer-songwriter Bob Dylan sold rights of his entire song catalog to Universal Music Group. The deal included more than 600 of Dylan's tracks that were produced in a career spanning 6 decades. Even though the price of the deal was not disclosed, UMG purchased Dylan's entire songwriter catalog, including popular classics like Blowin' in the Wind, The Times They Are Changing, and Like a Rolling Stone. In a report, the New York Times estimated Dylan's deal with the UMG at more than $300 million. It was reported to be one of the biggest acquisitions ever of the music publishing rights of a single songwriter at the time. In a statement, Lucian Grange, chairman and chief executive officer of Universal Music Group, had remarked on the deal, saying Dylan's songs were moving, provocative, and timeless. Paul Simon and Sony. American musician Paul Simon sold his entire songwriter catalog in a blockbuster deal with Sony earlier this year, in March. The price of the deal remains undisclosed and not much detail of the acquisition was made public. The deal covered more than 6 decades of music, from Simon and Garfunkel's songs like Bridge Over Troubled Waters and Mr. Robinson's, and Simon's solo hits such as You Can Call Me AI and 50 Ways to Leave Your Lovers. In a statement, Simon had said that he was pleased to have Sony as the custodian of his songs for the coming decades. I began my career at Columbia Sony Records, and it feels like a natural extension to be working with the publishing side as well, Simon had said. The New York Times had termed the deal as an important one for Sony, as its publishing division, despite being one of the biggest in the industry, had witnessed some high-profile defections. Steve Nicks and Primary Wave Music. In another major deal, American songwriter Steve Nicks, who is known for her work for the band Fleetwood Mac, sold the copyrights to some of her popular songs in a deal reported valued at $100 million. According to report, Nicks had sold 80% of her stake in her publishing rights to Primary Wave Music. The deal included several of the multi-award winners' biggest hits as solo performers, and hits including Landslide, Edge of 17, and Dreams that were performed as members of the Fleetwood Mac, a British-American rock band in 1960s. Shakira and Hypnosis. In January 2021, popular Colombian singer Shakira cashed her career hits in a deal with London-based music royalties investment firm Hypnosis. The deal included all 145 songs of Shakira, including popular ones like Hips Don't Lie, Whenever, Wherever, and the 2010 FIFA World Cup song Waka Waka. At 8 years old, long before I sang, I wrote to make sense of the world. I know Hypnosis will be a great home for my catalog, the popular Latin singer was quoted as saying as The Guardian after the deal. Even though the price of the deal was not made public, the BBC reported it to be for a multi-million-dollar sum. Thank you.